Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to our series of PT training. Years and years ago, I met a man called Edward Curtin when I was in China on a trip. Ed and I became pretty pretty close in this fitness industry, trading information back and forth.
Welcome to the Masters of Wellness podcast, your ultimate path to holistic health, wellness, and success. Discover the powerful fusion of Eastern wisdom and Western science, designed to balance your mind, body, and spirit. Our channel brings you holistic wellness practices, effective strategies to boost productivity, and insights on stress reduction and active aging. Join our global community and transform your life with holistic wellness. Cheers to a healthier, happier you.
Ed is internationally recognized as a leader for over 30 years in health, wellness, and international business development. Edward's the CEO of World Wellness Group, known for bridging Eastern wisdom and Western science to create transformative wellness situations. He's worked with facilities all over the globe, from Nike Sports Camp to Technogym to Anytime Fitness, and he's helped launch world-class wellness projects across the U.S., Australia, and Canada. Ed's expertise spans project management, corporate wellness, coaching, and innovative program development. When Ed and I first met, he was really involved in personal training in this group of clubs in China. And that's where we kind of got our first experience. What I thought we would do today is I would like to pick Ed's brain and ask him some questions about some things that are going on internationally and some things that he's ran into in the world of fitness and wellness and how they relate to us as personal trainers and kind of where we're going with this. So, Ed, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. It's a great honor to join this podcast with you and also catch up. We have known each other for many, many years. I remember back in the day, one of your first trips when I first got to meet you, and we're traveling in a taxi, racing through the city to get somewhere on time. The drivers on the roads here can be a little bit crazy, or they used to be a little bit crazy at that time. So I remember the group of us feeling not so good after we got out of the taxi.
Was a little crazy. A little crazy. So, Ed, let's kick this off and let's get going here. So, I'd like to start off with some questions, and then I'll ask you some quick lightning questions at the end here. What inspired your journey into this industry, specifically into the personal training side of the industry?
Okay, a great question. I guess the easier answer to that is it was actually my mum. Back when I was growing up and going to high school, my mum back in the 90s became one of the aerobics instructors in Australia. So she entered that industry. She became quite famous. She ended up being the president of Keep Fit Association in Australia. And I used to go along to her classes with her, and I used to be the DJ. And back in those days, we didn't have MP3s and Apple Music and stuff like that. It was literally a cassette recorder where you press play and press pause. So I used to go along to her class and I would press play. At the end of the track, I'd press pause and then allow the ladies and the gentlemen in her class to have a little break. And I just got to see the fun and energy that was happening when these community of people were getting together and enjoying health and exercise and fitness and having a little coffee and tea and after they would get together. So I really saw the community side of it. So that really inspired me. I finished school and went to university, became a primary school physical education teacher. So I got into PE, training kids. And one day, one of the dads came up to me and said, "Hey, Ed, you look like you're pretty fit. I want to lose a little bit of weight. Do you have any advice for me?" And I said, yeah, sure. Why don't you come to the gym with me and I'll put you through a workout and I'll show you how to do it. He said, okay. So I took this father to the gym and we did a workout together. He absolutely loved it. At the end of the session, he said, "Ed, this is really, really great. I love it. Like, if I pay you money, can I do this every week?" And I thought, hang on, that's a good business idea. And this is like way, way before personal training was a thing, right? So this gentleman then started to pay me money every week. I'd take him to the gym and we'd train together. That then followed with other mums and dads joining me, and I'd started to do little group exercise classes and family days and things like that. So it actually become quite a significant part of my life. My life then was actually training people for personal training in small group classes. Later on, I went and did a certification. I then worked at the Australian Institute of Fitness, so I became a certified trainer of the trainers. And because of my background in education, I was then able to help design curriculum. So I was working with the Australian Institute of Fitness as technical director, designing curriculum for personal training industries, the certifications for Australia and New Zealand. So I got heavily into that, absolutely loved it. I was training clients. I was training all sorts of clients, from active and older people all the way down to kids and disabled people and pregnant ladies. Like I just really, really enjoyed the variety and the diversity of it. So I've been passionate about it ever since. I have traveled all over the world doing this business, and then helping other trainers and other businesses be able to find the passion in the industry as well. And I do remember one day, I think it was the first day I was in China, and I was in front of a room full of personal trainers. There was about 40 of them in the room. At that time, I said, put your hand up if you'd love to do this for the rest of your life, if you love this industry. And there was only one person that put their hand up. And I thought, what's going on here? Because my experience in Australia with personal trainers is, yeah, I love fitness. I want to do this the rest of my life. But what I found in Asia actually is that it was something that some students would do because they couldn't get into a real university. So they'd go to sports uni and they'd study about sports, or they're passionate about fitness or basketball or something like that. So they kind of turn their interest into work, but they never really saw it as a career. So something that CMS and myself have really, really done in the Asian market is bring this industry into the forefront as a really serious and a great career for people to be able to enter. And fast forward a few years later, those personal trainers became the highest paid people in the company. Many of them have gone on to open their own studios and their own businesses from the training and the workshops that we have done with them.
Right. Thanks. And, and interestingly, as you were talking about that guy that you took and trained, the dad, it's the same today. Nothing's really changed. The person comes into the gym and they're still looking for that. So, when we kind of think things are changing, they aren't really changing too much. How do you integrate Eastern and Western practices into your training approach?
Yeah, so this is something that I kind of fell into. Just like any Western person coming to visit China for the first time, it's very eye-opening, and it's very different to the perception that we have before we visit the Asian market, especially China, right? Like what we see online and on the news and in the movies is very, very different to the reality. And Mark, as you know, you've been here dozens of times, so you absolutely know what I'm talking about. So I was absolutely infatuated and interested in what was happening on the Eastern side. I came from an exercise science background. I learned all about the science, the anatomy and physiology and nutrition and all of the data and things like that. But when I came here, I started to learn about why do they drink warm water and not cold water? And why do they eat seasonal food, which is in line with what is grown locally in the produce, because how that relates to the health of their body and their body condition at certain times of the year. Like there's certain times of the year in China where they will not eat an avocado, or they may not eat a lychee, or they may eat certain foods that seem a little bit strange. That's because they're seasonal here, so they absolutely do not eat foods that are out of season in the Asian market. And then this sort of cascaded into other things like sound bowl therapy and cupping, where they put the cups on your back, and it has like a suction, and then you got these red marks all over your back. I thought that was really weird at the beginning, but then I tried it and I thought, oh my God, like that release and that feeling of removing all the toxins is incredible. And then meditation and breath work and sound bowl therapy, where you've got the sound bowls and you're listening to that. One time I had a tummy ache and someone put a sound bowl on my tummy and they just resonated it for 20 minutes and my tummy ache is gone and all my digestion had improved. So I really, really learned a lot about that side. And I just thought this is so interesting. And why are we not integrating this more into what we do in Western society? So I've spent the last almost 20 years now is finding the best ways to integrate these two things together. So I've worked on projects where we had a TCM, traditional Chinese medicine doctor, working together with a clinical psychologist and a clinical dietitian and a personal trainer and so on, like have all these people working together and design complete lifestyle programs for people. Because, hey, we all love fitness. We go to the gym, we do some strength training. We think, okay, I'm into it. I'm good. That's all I need. But what about your recovery? And what about your nutrition? And what about your mind and all these other things that are working together? Like we have so many systems in our body that all work together. If you're only working one system, you're leaving all the others unanswered for. So I really, really found the integration part has really helped me with my own health, my own mindset, my outlook on life and all the people around me. So I spend all of my time now finding out how to integrate these programs together, how to build businesses and projects and programs where they work together.
Well, Ned, I think that's the main reason I've got you on here, so that here we can get our eyes open and see what the future holds and what's coming and what direction we need to go, other than just being a setting weights and plates personal trainer. Okay, let's move along here. What are some of the biggest shifts you've seen in personal training over the years?
Definitely the focus on the mind and the emotion of the customers has been the biggest change and the biggest shift. Back when personal training was in its early days, it was all about the science. It was all about the sets and the reps and the exercises and the different energy systems of your body, blah, 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 all of that. But when I started to train clients, I would have a customer turn up and say, "Hey, Ed, I don't really feel like exercising today. Can we just go for a walk?" And I'd say, "Sure, let's go for a walk." So we go for like a 30 or 40-minute walk. I just listen. I shut up and listen, which is the key advice I'd give any personal trainer in the world. Shut up and listen to your customer and allow them to just download, talking about their work, talking about their kids, talking about their financial, just sharing everything with you and non-judgmentally listening and allowing them to get that energy out of their body. After that class is over, the lady sat down. I did a shoulder massage and a stretch for her. She said, "Oh my goodness, Ed, I feel so good today. Thank you. You have allowed me to release all of that stress." And I found that was one example, but there's so many examples of that's what customers are looking for. After every class, I always do a short assessment. It's important to ask for feedback. And I would ask the customer, "What's your feeling?" Use one or two adjectives to describe your feeling after your class. And it would never be something like, "I feel strong, feel like I'm losing fat." No, it would be like, "I feel energized. I feel happy. I feel empowered. I feel confident." It was all connected to the emotions. And that's where I realized that that's the real value of what personal trainers do. So personal trainers who can tap into that communication and the EQ side, they're the ones that are going to go all the way. And that's where the greatest value that they're bringing to their customers is.
Ed, we hear a lot about technology in personal training. How do you see that impacting it today?
Yeah, I love technology because I see it as an extension of something that I would like to do anyway. Like, for example, the smartwatch is an example. I really enjoy running and I have a goal every month. I will achieve a certain goal for the amount of running that I do. Now, I used to do that manually. I used to record it on an Excel spreadsheet and so on, but now it's much easier because the watch helps me to do it and also helps me to monitor my recovery, such as what's my sleep quality, what's my heart rate, and how long does it take for me to recover after doing a training. So that data is really, really helpful to be able to design my program and see where my progress is. And then you've got AI. So for example, I'm very, very active online, sharing information, writing articles, writing posts, getting all the knowledge and information out there to promote discussion and let people to learn more about healthy lifestyle and health and well-being. And how I do that is I take my ideas, I work together with AI to formulate it into coherent sentences and passages and articles. And then I'm able to edit that. And it's got the same look and feel as if I was writing it myself. But having the assistant AI help me to do that makes it much, much easier and much easier for the reader to be able to understand. So I see technology as an extension of something that we would be doing anyway. Another thing that I do is I work with on-demand virtual classes. So on-demand classes are a really, really great hybrid tool to add into a fitness center because then you've got so much more variety. You can offer now 30 different or 40 different types of classes, whereas before you only had maybe 2 teachers or 3 teachers that can maybe teach 5 or 6 different types of classes. But now you've opened up this whole library of content that you can now offer to your members as well. And virtual classes has been a really great learning tool for a lot of teachers to look at the classes and follow along and be able to interact more with the members while they're teaching classes, rather than having to stand on the stage and teach everything and go through all the choreography and not have any opportunity to engage with the customers. So it's been really, really helpful like that. So certainly I love technology integrated and extending on what we already do.
Ed, if you could give us one practical idea to help us elevate our training offering, what would it be?
Look at the whole person when you're designing a program. Back in the day, the early days of personal training, we would ask a series of questions. And the key question we would ask the customer is, what is the number one health and fitness goal that you have? And the customer will say, I want to lose weight, tone up. I want to improve my posture. I want to reduce the pain or the tightness in my neck. So most personal trainers will stop at that moment. Oh, okay, you've got neck pain. All right, let's do some stretching. Oh, you want to lose weight? Okay, let's put you on a fat loss program. But they don't ask why. Why are you carrying some extra weight? Where did that injury come from and how long have you had it? When you dig down deeper to the details of the history of the customer, then you're much better able to understand how to formulate a successful program for them. So the number one thing to elevate the experience for members, which is ultimately what we are doing as business owners, we're focusing on the experience. And you know, as CMS, experience zones, right? I never forget when I learned that from you back in the many, many years ago. Experience zones of your fitness center. That experience when they're standing at reception and looking around, what do they see? What do they hear? What do they smell? When they go into locker rooms, when they go into the yoga classroom, that experience for the member is what we're focusing on. That's what keeps members coming back, makes them loyal, lets them refer other people to your business. So focusing on that experience of the customers and really, really digging down deep to the why. What's the reason that you want to improve this or make this change in your life?
Okay, I'm going to ask you a couple of quick lightning questions now. What's your favorite wellness or fitness trend right now?
Mindfulness.
Okay. One myth in personal training you'd like to bust?
There is no one program that fits everybody.
Okay. How about a book or resource that you'd recommend to us that would help us be more professional in our training and with our members?
The first book I recommend to anybody working in this industry is Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, because that is all about communication. And that's the most powerful tool that you have, is to be a great communicator, makes you a great leader and practitioner.
Okay. Ed, thanks for doing this for us. Just so all of you know, we are going to do another session with Ed where we're going to dive into the wellness a lot deeper. So if any of you would like to contact Ed or to get some more information from him or any resources, you can go to www.worldwellness.group, www.worldwellness.group. And I'll send that out in the email to you when you get this, or when you have this recording. Ed, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. And thanks for the time you've taken to share your expertise with us.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.